Hey, how's it going? This is Dan from modular.dev, and we're going to continue on our Blazor series. Today, we're going to go over creating a calendar with Blazor. I know as a web developer, there's been lots of ways that I've tried to implement a calendar with JavaScript or using a JavaScript calendar library or something like that. But today, we're going to go over how to make it in Blazor, so that'll be fun. Looking forward to seeing how that turns out. If you watched the memory match game from Tuesday, I put the GitHub repo out there today, and I linked it in the description of that video. So go ahead and check that out if you're looking for that. All right. I guess the only other thing I would mention is if you like this video, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to our channel. That way we can notify you whenever we create new content. And go ahead and join our Discord too if you're interested. We are just kind of starting that up. So looking for people that are interested in Blazor or interested in web development in general, maybe C# developers, something like that. If that interests you, go ahead and join our Discord. That's linked in the description of the video as well. So, all right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I'm just going to create a new project, a new Blazor app here. I've already got it kind of ready to go. So I'll go ahead and hit next. And I'm going to put this in my demos folder, and I'm going to call this calendar. Pretty creative name there. Let's go ahead and create that. And this is going to be a Blazor WebAssembly app. We don't need to make it hosted or progressive web app. In this case, we're just going to make it Blazor WebAssembly only. All right, we'll just take a moment to create that. And again, like the last video, I'm going to kind of delete some of the pages that come out here. We don't really need them. The counter and the fetch data page, we don't need those. So I want to get rid of those. And on the navigation, I'm going to get rid of those links to those pages, just so we're dealing with only one thing and we're not getting confused by everything else. So on the main index page here, actually I'm going to zoom in just a little bit more. Main index page here, I'm going to clear this out. So we're starting from a brand new page. And so what I want to do first of all is figure out the current month and try to figure out how many days are in that month. So I'm going to create a code block, and I'm going to go ahead and do the protected override void on initialized. And I don't know why IntelliSense does that. Maybe someday I'll fix that. But all right, on initialized. And in here, I'm going to create a datetime object. I'm going to set, let's say, month start. And that's going to be equal to new datetime. And for the year and the month, I'm going to do datetime.now.month. Which one's first? Let's see. Year is first. Year, month, day. Okay. Dot year. Datetime. Dot now. Dot month. And 1. So that'll be the first day of the current month. I think that's where we want to start our calendar. And we want to end our calendar with the last day of this month. So let's go ahead and do month end. And I'm going to basically do, and maybe there's a different way to do this, but I'm going to do month start dot add months, basically the first day of the next month, and then add days -1 to go back a day. And that should give us the end day for the month. All right, and also I think what I want to do is we're going to get a string. I'm going to put a string outside this on initialized so that I can use it later. Month name, and I'm going to set that to empty for now. But let's go ahead and get the month name here. So month start dot month, and that's just an integer basically. So how I think I'm going to do this is I'm going to use a switch expression, which is kind of new to C#. 8, I think, is when it was introduced. So I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do this. Month name equals month start dot month switch. So if it's 1, it's going to be January. If it's 2, it's going to be February. And maybe there's a different way of doing this, but that's all right. I'll just get it typed out. May, if it's 6, it's June. If it's 7, it's July. 8, August. September. October. November. December. Okay. That should be all of the months. So it's probably going to complain that we don't have all of the cases. So I'll just do a discard, which basically means if it's for some reason something else, we'll just set it to an empty string. All right, so we got our month start day and our month end day and our month name. I think that's a good place to start. So outside of our code block now, I'm going to go ahead and create an H1 tag, and I'm just going to put month name in there, and that should give us the current month name inside of an H1 tag. And now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a section, and inside that section I'm going to have basically all of my days. There's 7 days in a week, so it's going to be a 7-column grid, and I think I'm going to make it a 5-row grid just because that should encompass all of the days for the most part. So let's go ahead and let's see. I guess we need to know the first. Well, let's just do this for starters. For each, well, I'll say 4. For int I equals 1, I less than month end. Oh, I don't have access to month end anymore. Let's go ahead and put this out here. Date, time, month end. All right, and we'll set that here. Month end dot day, which will give us the day of the month. I++. And actually I'm going to set that less than or equal to. So for every day inside of here, we're going to go ahead and let's just create a div with the day in there. And we'll just kind of make sure that works first before we start styling and all of that. Okay, let's run it. So I am currently running this on November 19th. So the month should say November, and we should see a bunch of numbers. Okay. That looks right. November has 30 days in it, so we don't see 31 here. So that looks good. Good place to start. So now what we need to do is figure out what day of the week the month starts on. So if it starts on Sunday, you know, the first day of the week, then we're going to put the 1, you know, the first day in the first column. Otherwise, we need to put some dummy columns in there so that it appears in the right column. So let's figure that out. Int num dummy columns, I guess. Num dummy columns. I don't know. Set that equal to 0. And inside this on initialize, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say month start dot day of week, and that's going to give a day of week type, and I think I can convert that to an integer. Let's try it. So we'll set num dummy column equal to that. So if we're on a Tuesday, this should hopefully give us 2, which will give us 2 dummy columns, and we'll go ahead and start putting in our columns after that. So let's go ahead and do another for loop here. Int I equals 0, I less than num dummy columns, I++, and we'll just put empty divs there. So basically we're just setting up, if you look at a calendar, we're just setting up the empty days before the calendar starts. All right, and I think that is pretty much it. Let's go ahead and give this section some styling. I'm going to go ahead and just use isolated CSS here. So this is something new for Blazor in .NET 5. And basically what I can do is I can add a new file. I'm going to use this add new file thing here. I'm going to call it index.razor.css. All right. And so for this section in here, I'm going to give it a display of grid. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a grid template columns of repeat 7 1FR. So 7 columns all taking up equal width. That's what that's going to mean there. And we'll go ahead and give it a grid gap of 10 pixels. And we'll just create as many rows as we need to, I guess. All right. Then inside here for section, for each div, let's just go ahead and give each one of these a border of maybe 1 pixel solid black, just so we can kind of see where they are. And actually, you know what? We won't put a grid gap. We don't need a grid gap here. What we will do is put a padding inside here of 10 pixels. That way the borders all line up. There's no gaps between the borders. I think that would look a little bit weird. All right, let's try this and see what it looks like so far. All right, that actually looks pretty good. Is that true? Is November 1st? Yeah, it was on a Sunday. Okay, so we didn't have any dummy columns at the start, which is fine. Let's go ahead now and add the ability to change the month. Maybe we'll have a next and previous button. All right, let's go ahead and maybe before this H1, we'll put a button here, and inside that button we'll say previous month, and then after the H1 we'll say next month, and we'll style those in a little bit. But basically what we want to do is all of this same code, but for the new month. So instead of datetime.now, it's going to be datetime.now.add months, and then however many months we're going. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create just a function basically that's going to do this, and I'm just going to extract that out into a function. So let's go ahead and create a new function for this. Void create month, and that's going to create the current month, and we're going to call that from inside this onInitialized, just so we have an initial month. But now when we have when we do this, let's go ahead and add a onClick event listener here. I think basically what I want to do is I want to keep track of how many months away from the current month I am. So if I create an integer that maybe I can keep track of that. So int months away. I don't really know a better name for that. But basically what I'm going to do is when I click this, I'm just going to say months away minus minus. And when I click the other one, I'm going to say months away plus plus. Let me go ahead and put this on a new line so it's a little bit clearer. Okay. Months away plus plus. I think that should work. And let's go ahead and we're actually going to want to do two things here. We want to do months away minus minus, and then we want to call this create month function. Okay, so we're going to subtract a month and then create the next one. I think that makes sense. All right, so we've got that hooked up to the buttons. And basically here, instead of just doing datetime.now.month, we would do datetime.now.month plus months away. And that should give us the right day. Let's go ahead and try it. All right, we're starting with November. We'll style all these buttons in a little bit, but there we go. December, does that start on a Tuesday, it does. All right, great. Oh, we get an error, and it's probably because we're going over 12. We didn't wrap it back around to 1, so let's try these ones first before we fix that. Okay. It seems like it's working. Does May? I'm just gonna try May here. May does start on a Friday, so that's good. All right, that seems to be working. Let's go ahead and fix that issue that we saw though. So if the month is 13, we got to switch it back to 1. And if the month is 0, like if they were on January and they hit previous month, then that should go back to December. And actually, in that case, we would need to change the year as well. So we need to have a years away variable as well. Years away equals 0. So if we're changing the month here, let's do this. Here, let's take this datetime.now.month plus months away and put that into a temp variable. So int month equals that. And if month equals 0, so if we were on January and we subtracted a month, we should go back to December. So month should be 12. And we'll go ahead and do years away minus minus. So we're gonna subtract a year from our calendar. If month equal 13, we'll do month equal 1. So we're gonna switch back over to January. If we were on December and hit next, we'll go back to January and we'll do years away plus plus. And here we'll do plus years away. So this should hopefully work. We're going to set all that first. Then we're going to determine what month we're actually starting in. Then we're going to, figure out what the day we're ending is and create our little calendar from there. So let's go ahead and try that. Make sure that works. Okay. Oh, no, didn't quite work. Let's see. What did I do? Let's see, we get an error. Year, month, and day parameters describe an unrepresentable date time. Okay, well, let's figure out what's exactly going on. Oh, it should be month here. Yeah, that should be month there. Shoot. Is that? I think we're going to have some problems, but let's go ahead and try it anyway. Okay. Oh. I got to take this off. Okay, let's try that again. All right, November, December, January, great. But we're having some problems now. And that's basically because we're not keeping track of whether or not let me think of how to say this. We should be checking to see if it's greater than or equal to 13. And if month less than or equal to 0. But the problem is I think we have to do month equals month modulo 12. So basically if we are, let's say we're 7 months ahead and we were in November, that means we're on month 18. And then when we do this, that would give us a month of 6. I think that would work. And then years away, we actually don't need to keep track of this on a global level. We can just kind of create a int years away here. And well, yeah, we'll do year here and put this. And so basically, I think if it's greater than 13, we're going to want to do month. Actually, we could probably do it no matter what. But let me think here. Year plus equal month divided by 12. I think that would work, because we're taking month, which may be 18 or something like that. So 18 divided by 12 using integer division is going to be 1, and we're going to add 1 there. However, I think because we're doing it 1 based instead of 0 based here, I think we actually have to do month minus 1. I'm not exactly sure if my math is correct on this, but we'll see. And maybe we don't even need to do this. Maybe we can just put it outside of this if statement. It's some kind of weird, funky math here. So if you know the right answer, go ahead and put it in chat. But I hope this might work. Let's find out. All right, that did not work at all. Let's go ahead and debug this. Okay, so debugger's loading kind of slow. Oh, we got an error. Even loading the debugger. I don't know why. I don't know if anybody else gets this. I always get this: failed to find a valid digest in the integrity attribute for the resource. I don't know why Blazor has problems with integrity, but okay. So we come here. We're going to come, and the month is 12. And now month is 0. Okay. So obviously 0 isn't right. Should this be, let me think. Month modulo 12. If we're on December, month modulo 12 is going to be 0. I think what we actually want to do is month minus 1 plus 1, which is kind of weird, but it would become 11, and 11 modulo 12 would be 11, and then we're going to add 1. Yeah, let's try that. Okay. So far so good. I think that's working. I'm going to put the year on there just so we can actually see what year we're dealing with. Okay, let's just bring year outside here. Just so we can kind of keep track of it. And then we'll put comma year here. All right, hopefully this is right. November 2020, December, January 2020. Nope, that's not right. Okay, let's think. Month minus 1. Oh, it's because we're doing the whole we're moduloing it. We're affecting it here, and then we should do this first, basically. Because otherwise it's already been changed when we get to here. I think that's right. Let's go ahead and run this. I said that I think that's right a lot already, but hopefully this one's actually right. There we go. January 2021. All right. See if it goes in reverse as well. Oh, no. Some problem. So all right, let's see if we can figure out what's going on here. We're trying to minus a year. All right, I'm gonna just keep this breakpoint on here and just debug it and see what happens. I don't know exactly what's causing the issue at the moment. We're close though. We got it going forward in time. All right. I'm gonna hit previous on here and see what we get. So year is 2020, month is 0. So month minus 1 would be -1 divided by 12, which means it's still 2020. Okay. And month is 0 here. You know, I am not sure off the top of my head. So that I'll leave that as an exercise for you. I'm going to go ahead and put this, like I said, I'm going to put this on the GitHub. I'm going to make a GitHub link and put it in the description. So you can figure out how to make the year go backwards. But let's go ahead and finish up what I want to do with this calendar. And that is putting things on the calendar, because that's usually what you want to do with a calendar. So I'm going to go ahead and create a class. I'll just go ahead and create it outside here. Calendar item. Okay. And this thing is going to have a few things. It's going to have a date time, and that's going to be the date. It's going to be the date of the item, and then maybe it'll have just a short name, and we're just going to try and display the name of the item on the calendar. That'll keep it simple. You know, you can do other things as far as putting descriptions on there and everything else, but we'll keep it simple for this example. So we'll have a name and a date, and basically what we want to do is we want to populate some of those. So let's create a list of calendar items. Okay, and on the onInitialize, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create some. So let's do items.add new calendar item, and just so it is a little bit more condensed here, I'm going to put a constructor. Actually, let's use a record. Why not? This is a C#9 record, and we're going to just put date time, date, string name, and we'll just get rid of all this. So if you haven't seen a record before, it's kind of like a class, but it's a little bit simpler, and there are some other caveats to it. I do recommend checking out the C#9 tutorial on records if you haven't done this. It's on our YouTube channel. So anyways, we're going to make it a record, and we're going to go ahead and say new calendar item, and that's going to be let's say 2020 11 11. So we'll do something on November 11th of this year, and we'll say was that Veterans Day? I don't remember. Well, whatever. Let's go ahead and just put test day 1, and we'll go ahead and add some more of those. And we'll go ahead and put November 30th, and put test day 2, test day 3, test day 4. And we'll put this one on December. We actually know that one's Christmas. I know that one for sure. And on January 1st, that's New Year's. Okay, so we have 4 items that we're going to add to the calendar. And basically what we want to do is, when we're writing all this stuff out, not only do we want to put the day, but if this calendar item has, or if this day has a calendar item associated with it, we would go ahead and display it. So we have our year, we have our month. Do we have a month? We have the month, but we can't access the month. I'm going to go ahead and put this out here. Int month. We'll just put 0, doesn't really matter. That way we can access the month. And so what we're going to do is we're going to say if, well, we'll do calendar items. What did I call that? Calendar. Oh, I just called it items. Okay. If, well, items dot first or default, where that item has a date, and that date is equal to new date time, year, month, I. In this case, I is the day of the month, so we can do that. If it's equal to the year, month, and day, we're going to store it into a var calendar item. All right. So we have a calendar item potentially. Most days don't have one, so this first or default will give us 1 if it exists or none if it doesn't exist. And then we'll say, we'll go ahead and put this in an H2, I guess. So the day of the week will be in an H2, and if a calendar item exists for it, we'll go ahead and put that in a paragraph tag. So if calendar item not equal null, whoa, calendar item dot name. So if it exists, we will put out the name. Otherwise, we will not put out anything. So let's try that. Okay. On November 11th, we have test day 1. November 30th, we have test day 2. If we go ahead in time, we've got Christmas on there. If we go ahead in time again, we've got New Year's. So it does seem to be working. So it's come a long ways in just 30 minutes. Obviously, like I said, there's still that issue with the previous month. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. If you find that, I'd be curious to know what the right answer is. Like I said, I'll put this out on GitHub, and yeah, I think that was pretty cool. And you can make this calendar much more interactive. You can have the days linkable and have them open up to different things. But yeah, I think it's good for 30 minutes. So if you have any questions as you work through this, go ahead and put them in the chat or in the description or the comment section of the video. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. All right, thanks.